Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this Tuesday morning? Drinking my coffee, waking up a little bit. All right, we might get an echo. Let me mute everything. There we go. What's up, guys? What's up, John O, Mitch, Two-Way, Kane? Oh, just waking up, son. What's up, Missouri? Jonathan, Juan, Matt. What's up, Matt? What's up, man? Gagan, John O, Netron. What's up, guys? Salty, John Ennis. All right, Mitch. Yeah, man, you got the invite to. You're in here. You don't even have to raise your hand today, Mitch. There you go. All right, guys, we got Mitch here
What's going on, trader?
with his very enthusiastic intro. What's up, man? Good morning. What's up, man?
Hey, another day. Let's do this.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I hear myself too.
Okay.
Nice little echo.
Oh, really?
No, it's me though.
Okay.
I had the YouTube open, so
It
I got to
happens.
hear my own good morning.
All right, so check out LCI. LCI is moving some. It's tradable. Gonna watch LCI for sure. Also watching RR or YRIV. It's not tradable either. PBR moving some. AMD, NIO, Cron, CGC, and BEV. The same ones we've been watching. But then UXIN is gapping up some, and it's tradable as well as APHA. And so I'm gonna watch all those. They seem like a pretty good list. Some movement today. We'll see what we get. See if we get some decent moves here. What's up, Abdul? Good morning, man. Yeah, LCI is the one I'm watching, probably one of the most. Big gap.
Oh, there you go.
You know, it is tradable. So I'm watching that one as well as APHA, UXIN.
All right. Didn't see this one, so let me check this out.
What, LCI?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Looks good.
Yeah, I didn't pick it up on my gappers list. I'm not sure why.
So this one's at 620 now, so it's still down a ton on the daily chart, but it's actually been consolidating around 550s for like months. And so I could see it coming back down. It's at 540. It's at 620s now, so yeah. It's right around the highs of the last few months. The highs right there at around 660, and so I think it will probably come down today. We'll see though. Let's see if I can draw these pre-market levels out a little bit more clearly with LCI. 1, 2, that looks reasonable. 3. Maybe $6 too. Can be an area to watch. All right.
Trying to find out why I got hit in the first place.
What, LCI?
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out. I think it was in it was August 20th, so it's back there.
All right, let's see. LCI.
The new one is
okay. Greater
kind of,
leverage ratio flexibility because Lanet amended their credit with for greater leverage ratio flexibility.
kind of a restructuring of their credit deal.
Right, and then amendment to their credit as well. So yeah, I mean, it's just an amendment to their credit deal. It's good news, but you know, we'll see where it goes. Still a little early to tell. All right. So yeah, I mean, yesterday we had a little bit of a rebound in a lot of these stocks. AMD ended up rebounding. Cannabis stocks went down and then rebounded back. Let's see, where's Kron? Yeah, the cannabis stocks went down and then rebounded all the way back to around the highs yesterday. So it's about break even, honestly, in the last 24 hours for CRON. And so definitely have some options here. Again, today I'm going back to 300 shares. I think it's time.
I'll be watching BERI also. Include that in the watch list.
I remember VERI.
Huge gap up yesterday.
Yeah, it did have a big gap. Was this one tradable? I think I remember this one not being tradable yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't tradable yesterday. It became tradable today.
All right, well, so, at least they're adding stocks. That's the big thing. Like, I just want them to add stocks that I can trade if it starts to move. Hey, hold it down, brother. I'll be right back, Mitch. Hold it down.
No stress, no stress. Let's do this, guys. What we're looking at. All right, I'm looking up right now, LCI. I want to find out more why it went down back in August. The float that I'm getting from Finviz is 27 million. 27 million is a good float. Outstanding only is 39 million. So there's not too much that is out there that kind of smart money's holding. Let's look at the investors. And yeah, insiders only own 6% of this company. And in the last 6 months, it's only a 0.67%. So that shows you that at least okay, here's the news. Here's what happened. Okay, so in August 20th, guys, August 20th, we got 2 downgrades in LCI. LCI was downgraded by Raymond James and Roth Capital. Raymond James downgraded it from outperform to market perform, and Roth Capital took off their buy rating and changed it to a neutral. That's what happened on August 20th. That actually got this huge kind of downfall in LCI. Now it's kind of coming back, restructuring their deal, and we're going to see if it's going to be able to make up the gap that it broke in the first place. The gap that it broke in the first place was all the way up there at $13, coming down to about opening up there at $6. Kind of lost about 50% of the company there. So let's see if it can come back, kind of make a ramp back. Let me see if I can go back, see if there's any other resistance in between that shadow that we can use. You have to go back all the way until 2013, where you can find kind of where these prices are coming from. Good level I'm finding here is going to be 1101, but really it's so far back that I don't think this is going to hold value. More than 5 years ago, this stock was down here at this pricing. Let me catch up with the chat, see what we got going on. What's going on? Good morning, ACB. ACB also on the watch. Yes. Aora Cannabis. So I've been doing a lot of kind of cannabis research lately, and I really think the next 3 stocks that are really on the watch for me are going to be ACB, Aora Cannabis. We also got APHA. That's going to be Alphia. We're going to have watched that one. And we're also going to watch on CNTTF. This is the Cannon Trust Holdings. One of those stocks that I'm just watching for kind of a long-term play. I definitely think that big companies are stepping up in the industry, as we saw Altria, the big Marlboro company, step up and take a purchase in Chronos. We saw in NBEV Constellations invest in there. One of the other companies that I'm seeing out there that could be making a purchase kind of coming into this is also it's a British company. There's a British cigarette company that makes a bunch of cigarettes, like let's say Newports and stuff like that. Views electronic cigarettes. I can see them kind of making a move into cannabis also.
What company is that?
It's the British. I'll find out right now. It's the main competitor from Altria.
Yeah, there's also PBR is up some. It was down yesterday, so now it's up a little bit. APHA, UXIN, they're all up some. AMD's up. Cron, CGC, NBEV are all up. VERI is
I got
down
it.
some.
British American Tobacco. That's the stock.
BAT?
Yep.
No, that's not it.
No, it's not BAT. All right, I'll find out
What's up, Peter? What's up, man? 300 shares today, bro. 300 shares today. I gotta do it.
the symbol is BTI.
BTI. That's interesting. So they make views. I use views.
Yep, they make views and they also hold Newports. Newports are a very popular cigarette in the United States. And the reason that I'm kind of interested in this company is that you see on the year overall how down it is. It's incredible. I mean, it's kind of one of these views I always had at the beginning of the year and last year. But if you look at the cigarette companies throughout the last 2 years, it's incredible the down that they're actually getting. And this is kind of like one of those hidden trades that you could have been making this whole time is kind of going against bearish on the tobacco industry as they're getting hit from two separate industries kind of gaining market space.
This thing did, man. This thing absolutely tanked this year.
Yeah. And if you look at MO also, you look at MO, which is the other one, Altria, tanked. You know, it's these companies have been getting hit, their market share is getting taken. And so I'm looking for a bunch of those kind of tobacco companies, drink companies, alcohol companies. Some people are throwing out companies like Morrison Coors. So essentially the Coors family. There's a bunch of different ones out there. We've been doing a lot of research into this and getting more and more into understanding the industry.
Yeah, sorry. I'm looking up Bucket Shopper, and the only thing I'm getting is like actual buckets on Etsy.
Buy a bucket, bro.
Yeah, what does that mean, Peter? What are you talking about, man? I'm curious now. I don't know if it's like an insult, if I should be like insulted, or if it's like, you know. Thinkorswim is working fine. It looks like for me, Ismail. What's up, there, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, I mean, look at the tobacco companies. Look at this is another one. This is traded on OTC. It's the next company up. It's IMBBY.
I-N or M? N is in Nancy.
I am
M is in
Mike
Mark. Okay.
and Mitch.
BBY.
You look at the daily and the
Ooh, that one
kind
got
of
hit too.
yeah, just getting destroyed. You know, it's kind of one of those things you can learn as a trader is that when you really start kind of creating a view on an industry, you can kind of see it get hit by the whole industry. You notice how it wasn't one stock that went down. It was all of them getting hit. And so what does that really mean? A lot of times I was taught by my professors at UCF is to really find where the underlying asset is in a stock. So essentially in tobacco, the underlying asset is the tobacco itself. So tobacco itself has gone down in usage. And so the usage, of course, is going to bring what? Demand. Demand is going down. Demand is slowly going down. And what's happening, guys, is supply is actually increasing. So making tobacco essentially cheaper and essentially they're just not able to produce the amount of money that they need. And so the industry has to take a hit. They has to diversify and try to find different means to make the same amount of revenue. And that's what these big companies are doing. They're willing to step in and scoop these little cannabis companies. Reason being is their market capitalization is completely kind of small, relevant to their size right now. If you look at one of these big companies, they're in the billions in market cap, and we're looking at something that's in the low billion. Um, they're looking at low market cap cannabis stocks that have great producing. So kind of they can already have infrastructure already set up so that when the market kind of catches up with the cannabis industry, they're going to be able to produce, not only produce right now, but produce for the long time being. And that's why Chronos was kind of purchased. It
Yeah.
was, it had great producing, had new infrastructure in kind of in the writing, and that's why they went and they took Chronos instead of they were looking at another one, ACB. ACB was one they were really looking at, and also CNTTF. That was one that they were looking at also that has kind of the most producing, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with these cannabis stocks in December and towards the end. I feel like we're definitely getting towards the area where they're either going to show us that they're going to kind of reignite and get hot again, or they're going to kind of fade away, and we're kind of just going to hold this into the next kind of catalyst or next company buy up.
Right. I can see that. So what's up, Peter? Man, I'm still curious, bro. You're like, okay, let me explain. Silence. You know. What happened, man? That sucks, Ismail. You'll bounce back, brother. It takes time, man. You know, you'll bounce back, bro. Intro account's hard to. It's really hard to make it work with the intro account. Honestly, I think it's good learning though. It's a good learning tool, but it's tough.
Man, look at the VWAP fade on MO yesterday. It's out of my price range, but it was there.
Ah, okay. Yeah, no stress, Peter. Long time ago, there was a trader named Jesse Livermore. Sounds like a book intro. His success was at bucket shops. Bucket shops were locations all over the country that traded like you today without trading actual equities. Yeah, that makes sense. I went over 200 letters. Yeah, no stress, man. Yeah, I mean, CFDs, it's kind of like, I like using CFDs. I think the fills are fine. Um, and if it works, they follow the overall market down to a T. And so that's all I care about. I'm actually a little nervous when I move on to like a real account because it's going to be much harder to. I think the fills are going to be worse, but who knows?
I mean, what I think really changes is kind of how the market reacts to your share sizing. That's really the only thing that's going to change.
Right,
If you have a good broker, you should be able to get filled where you want to get filled,
right.
regardless of who the broker is. If you're getting kind of really bad slippage, you should just kind of change brokers. That means that their routing isn't actually going to the market, it's going through different servers. And because that different server thing is happening, you're kind of getting slow execution speed, and that slow execution speed kind of causes you not to be able to get the shares that you need. And so, as long as your broker provides what we call direct routing should give you more than enough ability to get the price that you need.
Yeah, for sure. Do you know if BTI and BTAF are the same company? They're both British tobacco.
Um, Maybe they're
One's OTC, one is
exactly.
Nasdaq.
They probably have their placement on two
Right.
different exchanges.
MIOS. I see some people. Oh, MIOS. I missed this one. Yeah, not tradable. I remember trading this one. What was it, like a year ago, maybe. It looks like a great short. You know, But honestly, yeah, it definitely looks like a good short.
Yesterday, a good fade on BTI also.
I mean, look at this one.
Good
Like
stocks. Like,
MYOS is pretty interesting here. Like you can see this
yeah,
high
I
right
like
here.
them.
It's
Yeah.
we can't trade it, but I could still go over like a trade idea. You know, you can see this high at 191. And so if you go to the daily chart, you can see that high at 191. It's right around there now at 187.
Look at the weekly chart on this stock and go back about 2 years to right before 2017, and you're gonna see what these kind of penny stocks are really all about.
Yeah. Spike
The-
fail. Spike fail. Spike fail. Spike fail. That's all they do. You
yeah,
know.
exactly,
And that's
bro.
why that's why
Just
my
shows.
right. I mean, this is why my entire like a lot of my trades revolve around shorting these overextended stocks. Is because if you look at the daily chart, it's like spike fail, spike fail, spike fail, and so shorters are just watching this hungry. You know.
100%. Yeah, but those kind of views I've had them at certain points in my life, and I really need to start being able to kind of create long-term trade ideas around it. I really thought kind of I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Bang energy drink by VPX. It's kind
Mm,
of have you guys heard of it? Anybody's heard of Bang energy drink? It's energy drink at least taking over here in the South. Reason why it's taking over is that it's VPX is a company that used to provide Redline. I don't know if you ever heard of Redline, but
yeah.
essentially what it is kind of uh, energy drinks that are pre-workouts. Pre-workouts are making their way kind of into convenience stores. Regular, you go to your gas station, your local gas station, and uh, you go and you grab 300 milligrams with caffeine in it, with it got creatine in it, everything in it, and I think this is really going to change the whole even energy drink industry. If they're going to allow 300 milligrams of caffeine in any drink, you're definitely going to like it. Let's put it that way. Caffeine is the
Yeah.
most used drug in the world, and uh, it's something that I definitely saw go from tiny market to now it's essentially in every store. It's in Publix now, Walmart, um, and taking over. And
Yeah.
that's how you kind of look out for business and kind of trading ideas and kind of evolve from them. Whenever you see something kind of new in the industry, kind of realize that you can take kind of advantages. Jules came into the industry. I saw Jules a lot being purchased and kind of increasing on the market share. And now, just that alone is another reason why MO is trying to purchase and have acquisitions. They're trying to purchase Jules right now. Jules is an electronic cigarette company that's now taking over 70% of the electronic tobacco industry. Um, they've made views go down from 19% all the way down to 9% now.
Really?
Yeah.
Views is views is failing.
Yep.
I never knew that,
Because of
man.
because of Jules. Jules has taken over the whole kind of the nation, and
Hey, they're becoming the authority, man. I mean,
yep. So
got
what's
no reason.
happening here is Altria is going to try to purchase Jules so that they can bring back flavoring. Tobacco companies put a whole campaign against Jules because they promote kind of flavors called mango, sweet creme brulee, uh,
Yeah.
cool mint,
Yeah.
uh, flavors that supposedly advertise towards kids.
Yeah, right, man. The tobacco companies are just upset that they're losing market share because people aren't smoking as many cigarettes. Like that's what that is. Like that's what the tobacco companies are all upset about.
Yeah,
Like they're not like I mean, I understand it. Like I understand their argument, but they don't really care. All they care about is market share, and so also MYOS. The news for MYOS is they launched Yoked, which is a new sports nutrition product with the Vitamin Shop network. So yeah, new product for sports nutrition, working with Vitamin Shop nationwide. It's a muscle enhancing sports nutrition product line, yoked. It's formulated with fortitropin. Vitamin Shop will be the first retailer to carry it. It's made through a patented process that maintains the vital nutrients of fertilized egg yolk to build more lean muscle and decrease muscle loss. It's been clinically shown to build up to 8 pounds of muscle mass in as little as 12 weeks. Sounds like a pitch. Yeah, they're coming out with a new sports product, which is MIOS. That's why MIOS is up. We'll see if it holds its gains. That's all I'm really looking at it for. The daily chart looks pretty bad.
Yep.
And so
one of the key things that's also hitting up tobacco companies is regulation. Whenever you got regulation in certain industries going against companies, look for those companies to start failing. Regulation doesn't necessarily mean that it takes away all their money, but what it does is it's cost. Regulation has always been kind of what is going to cost companies to get around regulations so that they can produce the money that they want. With tobacco industry, they're looking for right now a nationwide ban on all menthol cigarettes. And this is definitely putting pressure on the tobacco industry as a whole.
yeah,
I mean, imagine if there was no menthol cigarettes. You're going to have a lot of cigarette people upset.
people are gonna be mad, man. That's like yeah, people are gonna be upset. I mean, that's just like an entire like subset of cigarette that people are going to be upset about. I get it though. Like, here's the thing, like the way I see it, like you should just let people do whatever they want. If it hurts themselves and it's not hurting everybody else, that's fine. And so with cigarettes in mind, you know, if they want to smoke at their home, fine. I'm not necessarily opposed to limiting public smoking, but like if they want to smoke at their home, fine. You know, like let people do whatever they want. If they're not hurting anybody, they're not hurting anybody. You know, that's kind of how I feel about everything. But
it's going to be interesting today. I'm really watching UXIN. Going to be watching NIO.
APHA.
APHA, yeah. One of the real keys is we're going to see if kind of the buyers really step up here at the open, as we've had kind of two small pullback days, essentially building up volume, trying to get momentum to drive.
Yeah, don't worry, Isaac. I'm not getting political, man. I hate all politicians. I don't care who they are.
Oh, there's no politics in that. Just tobacco.
All right. Like, I hate all politicians, man. Like, I don't like any of them. Like, I don't like either side. I try to just stay away from it just because it's all nonsense.
No smoking in the public park? John, did you know that?
Yes, I did know that. I did know that.
I guess you guys have a bunch of smokers in the parks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't smoke anymore, and so it doesn't really affect me.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, man. I mean, they have the ban now where you can't smoke in restaurants, which is I used to, when I smoked, I hated that rule, but honestly, I kind of agree with it now. But it all just depends, man. I mean, if it doesn't affect me, I'm not going to be too upset about it.
All right. Getting closer to the open here, guys.
Yeah, I doubt anybody's really going to enforce it. It's going to be kind of tough to enforce that. All right, so we got some movement today. Overall, looks like stuff's up in general. If you look at the overall market, the SPY bounced at that 260 level I was talking about yesterday, which was kind of the big crucial level. It went down to 259 and then bounced back all the way up to 270s. It's at 267 now, so it's about here.
One of the key things that I'm looking at, and I'm not sure if I'm completely right on looking at it, but I'm really checking out TLRY. I feel like TLRY was really like the leader in the industry
Yeah, a
and
few months
really,
ago.
really made it hot. I think without that stock, all these stocks wouldn't have gotten that real true momentum that actually happened. And so one of the key things is if you look at that chart at TLRY, it's essentially has converged to the support as tight as can get. And what that means is essentially that we're ready for it to do either kind of that breakout back towards that 200, or it's going to go ahead and break down and come on back to where it started from in the first place. And that's really what I'm looking at. I have alerts on both sides, kind of an alert to tell me if the stock gets below 94, or an alert to tell me if it gets above about 125. And so, kind of in the long term, I'm really paying attention to this to kind of see where the whole industry as a whole is going to kind of move.
Yeah, I remember TLRY, man. This was one of the ones that got really hyped up before the Canada legalization. You can see back here in September, this thing went all the way to 300 and then kind
Yeah.
of came back down. It's been back and forth between like 100 and 175 in the last few months. Yeah, I'm watching LCI as well. I'm going to see what else we can find. UWT, I think this is an ETF, but it's moving some. But yeah, AMD kind of taking off there this morning. Gonna look at that one for a potential short. See if it fills some of the gap. All depends on what tech does today. APHA, UXIN. So not too bad. Yeah, I was talking about it in class yesterday, but yesterday was kind of a frustrating day because I had two green trades. I probably made 30 cents a share yesterday, but the one trade where I took it up to 300 shares was bigger than the other two. And so maybe I have to tweak that rule instead of sizing down after each trade. Just keep a consistent share size after each trade so that my winners, like yesterday, will compensate for my losers because yesterday was a good day. I mean, I made more cents per share than I lost, but because I took that bigger share size for that first trade, it didn't. I was still down on the day. Yeah, you owe me a free lunch, Danny. That's right, brother. I'll hold you to that, man. Nah, AMRN is dead to me. It's just one of those stocks that I just do not like trading. It never works.
It's
Never
just
follows.
dead.
Yeah, it's just dead to me, man.
I've
I don't
killed it
even see
already.
it. I don't even see it. I don't even know where it's at. You know.
Yeah. Now, one of the stocks that I am watching though, I don't think we've talked about is AOBC.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the intraday chart from yesterday. It's just too choppy, low volume.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday's is kind
It's
of,
still
I
up
think,
though. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of one of those kind of in between days where I feel like it really didn't do anything. Um, and then today, if it cracks 13, you can pretty much kiss this goodbye. It's going to go right back down, make up that gap that where it was at 12.
Right. All right, brother. Hold it down. I'll be right back, man. We got 5 minutes. Let's get ready.
Oh, I actually, I'm going to go start up my coffee right quick. I know I'm going to be late, but I need my coffee. Let's take a little break, get ready for the open, guys. So what you want to be doing around this time is really visualizing your trade. We talk about this time in, time out in our classes. If you don't visualize your trade, you're not going to be able to really kind of execute your plan and what you want to do. The best kind of trades are trades that you already essentially know where your risk reward should be at, where the key levels are. And this way, when the levels go and hit, you're able to take advantage and really execute on your trade.
Right. You can
A
let
lot of
those levels guide you.
Yeah, a lot of times you're going to see hesitation. It's going to be when you don't know the levels, when you're not kind of really aware of the key levels, the profits and losses, and where you're going to actually hold to. So go ahead and visualize, know what you want to do, Yeah, see the trade, see the candles going your way, know where you're taking your position, know your strategy, stick to your strengths, always quadruple down on your strengths, know what you're good at, and we'll keep going.
So,
Appreciate the super chat. Matt Spies coming through with a nice $10.
what? Thanks, Matt. Hey, brother, appreciate it, man. Appreciate the $10, brother. That's awesome, man. Matt's like, if y'all haven't seen Matt, Matt's like an OG, man. He's been here for like what, like a year now, or so, man, off and on. So appreciate the support, brother. Means a lot, Matt. Thank you, man. Oh yeah, for sure. Here, I can put the intraday scanners up.
Yeah, you can already put them up.
But yeah, thanks, Matt.
Bring it
Means a
back,
lot,
guys.
brother.
Get some coffee.
All right, we can put the intraday scanners up, see what we get today. But yeah, main watches are probably AMD, LCI, PBR, CRON, NBEV, UXIN, APHA, and so we got some options. That's cool though, Jono. Yeah, man, that's cool, brother. Do we get an OG badge if we hit it? Yeah, man. I mean, a lot of people here are OGs. Two-way. Check out Drip. All right, we got about a minute left, guys. So I just want to focus on the stocks I'm watching. Yeah, DRIP. It's an ETF. It's cheaper. Want to see more volume with it. All right, I'm gonna watch LCI and AMD at the open. All right, here I can say it. So my main watches are LCI, AMD, NIO, PBR, CRON, NBEV, UXIN, and APHA. Here. In fact, I'll do you one better, brother. Let me just post it. Here you go. Here you go, Pun. That's mostly what I'm watching today. Alright, guys. There's the bell. Bell has rung. Yeah, I don't know. We both have the volume turned up the same. Which one's louder, Pun? Me or Mitch? Alright, we got AMD spiking up here. Up to 21. Big spike on AMD. Spiking all the way up to 21. We got LCI, which isn't really moving too much here. Let's see what else we got. We got Cron trying to push. AMD just going crazy here. NBEV looking all right. Yeah, the reason is because that's on desktop audio, so anything that goes on desktop audio is going to be a little bit louder. So AMD pulling all the way back here to the VWAP. I don't really like this for a fade just because that pullback's too big. It's a tight risk though, but it's too close to that low of the day.
Woohoo! NIO.
I know,
Big
man.
volume. 714, 45,000 shares.
Look at AMD, man. And what happened with LCI, man? LCI, nothing's showing up here. It's not moving at all. Is it just me or what? No time in sales action either. Oh, it's just got little shares.
Just a baby boy.
What, LCI?
Yeah,
Yeah, little baby.
a little baby boy.
All right, we got AMD pulling back here. We'll see where this one goes. Hey,
Yeah,
nice bamboo. Get it, brother. Get it, man. Nice work. I'm looking at AMD to break this low now and see if it washes out. Get in for a fade, maybe. Good call, though, brother. Good call, man. You were right. UXIN spiking up some.
yeah.
Kron's actually got a small range today. But Kron is dropping some. Let's see. LCI is actually pretty disappointing right now, man. I mean, it's just not moving. I don't know what happened with it. All right, CRON. Looking at NBEV, CRON.
Looking at Tiva. Right now, Tiva, UXIN going strong. AOBC. Look at that one.
PBR dropping some. If PBR pulls back, I'll be interested in it. Okay, wait, so there goes NIO here. NIO breaking underneath the VWAP. Kron looks interesting here. It's not a big enough drop, though. That's the problem I have with it. It's just not a big enough drop.
It's about to take 60s in Tiva, but change up to market. Waiting.
NBEV completely tanking here. Big drop. And like I said, Kron is back at the VWAP. It's just not a big enough drop for me to really want to take it. AMD maybe a rejection here as well, but it's just not big enough. I actually don't mind Kron here. Tight risk, but the drop's not big enough for me. I'm looking at PBR. If PBR gets back up to the VWAP, I'll consider it for sure. ACB. Look at that rejection on AMD. I mean, it rejected nicely.
Yeah, missed my first chance to take some really quick profit there at Tiva. Wanted to short their 60s. Would have been able to take first profits already. Looking for that continuation move.
All right, so if PBR gets back up to 75, I can take it with a 7-cent risk, or a 5-cent risk, with a, what is that? About a 10-cent reward, 9-cent reward, almost 2-to-1. Not too bad, but very small range for PBR. And maybe Kron would have worked. I just didn't like it. It's too choppy and sideways. But AMD's absolutely giving it back here. If AMD can get back up to 78 here. Let me see where I could do risk. That's the biggest thing. The biggest question here is where's my risk for this one? If you can get back to 77, maybe 86 risk. 87 risk for 10 cents.
Looking at Tiva here. Looking for a potential entry at 61 to risk off of 65. Looking for a move back down to the 1850s.
It's AMD. Yeah, Ruckus. AMD. I'm looking at PBR honestly now though.
UXIN, immediate kind of green to red move.
I'm looking at AMD and PBR here. See if these pull back. What's the SPY doing? SPY is sideways. AMD's looking a little bit better here. Honestly, it looks like it has a little bit bigger range today. All right, PBR. Let's see. Maybe missed my entry with PBR.
Yeah. Uh,
All right, I got in with 300 shares of PBR right there at 74. Gonna look for a wash back down, risk of 80 or so. Kind of a small range stock though, that's the only problem.
ooh. One that I missed today was APHA. Should have been watching it a little bit closer.
We're
Easy
up to.
fade.
Yeah, I'm looking at PBR. I'm kind of torn with it. It looks like a good fade, but it's actually down some the previous day, so we'll see what we get here. See if we get a wash back down. I don't know if AMD is going to end up giving it to me, so kind of torn on how I feel about it, but we'll see if we get a wash. AMD may have a later day fade, I think. Yeah, PBR was short. I'm just seeing if it's going to fade back down. $72s. There we go. So you got to follow through back to the low of the day here for PBR. Now I have a pretty obvious risk level. I mean, if it breaks this 76, 77 level, I can get out.
ARDM. Momentum on ARDM. Not tradable, but has some momentum for sure.
AMD just continues to tank, man. I just don't know if it's going to give me that fade. It's possible though. If AMD gets back up to the VWAP, you could attack it with the fade.
Oof. Right now, UXIN getting slapped. Getting slapped with sizing there at 550s.
All right, so far so good with PBR. We'll see if we get a little bit bigger wash out here.
Man, that was some sizing going into UXIN.
Nah, it's too choppy, man. It's just too sideways for me. NBEV getting hammered. A lot of red on the time and sales for PBR. We got 70s, 69s. Smaller range stock. But
just got bought up again. Look at that flip.
all right, I'm going to take 100 off of PBR here. Let the 200 shares work for me. See if we get a low of the day crack. Still holding most of the position. I just wanted to take some off here. Give it that time. Just in case it bounces at this low of the day and rebounds some, I'll still be relatively safe in it. So yeah, not too bad at this point. Took my profits at the right spot where I planned previously.
UXIN just getting slapped.
Yeah, there it goes. Look at Kron, man. Look at Kron, dude. If Kron gets back up to 1288, it doesn't look bad there. Yeah, AMD is one of my favorites, just because it usually follows through pretty well. Don't know how I feel about PBR at this point. It's down to 72s. It's bouncing at that low of the day, and so if it rebounds here and really breaks 76, I'll get out. Not trying to get caught in a bear flag move, really. Or a bull flag back up if it puts in higher lows.
All right, willing to kind of get short on UXIN if it comes back to VWAP. I'm going to take smaller share size on this one due to the range. APHA was the one that should have been able to nail.
Dude,
Just
look at AMD
watch.
get hammered here. Absolutely hammered.
Chew. UXIN already gone.
Yeah, that's how it goes. AMD, I mean, I'm watching it pretty close here, see if it gets up to the VWAP. It's a big if.
I was thinking about taking UXIN at 60s, but when it bounced back after those big shorts in the 50s, it went way too fast to 570s, like right underneath 570. And it got me to kind of hold back on it. But I wanted to get short there, 560s off of 570s.
Yeah, I'm watching PBR. It's starting to come back. Like I said, if it breaks 76, I'll get out of this one. It's because if it breaks 76, it's putting in higher lows. I'll let it test it. I took profits enough for it to be relatively break even in the trade. But if it breaks 76, I'm out.
All right. Well, I'm kind of looking at AMD for an attempt here if it comes back to the VWAP.
Yeah, no, that's what I've been watching that one too. I'll probably get in it too if it gets back up there. Trying to manage this PBR trade, but
I have an order out limit at 2060s.
yeah. Now, if it gets rejected here, I like it a little bit better for PBR, making a double top, but it also made a double bottom there. And so, like I said, 26 or 76 is what I'm going to get out, break even, maybe $5-6 loss if it does stop me out here. AMD, it's just about whether it's actually going to get to the VWAP.
Nah. I'm telling you, today my one trade that I should have taken was at TIBA. I was thinking about taking those 860s, 1860s. Would have been doing really, really nice. That trade looking perfect.
What, UXIN?
No, TIBA.
Oh.
I had it dead on at 1860s. Just didn't take the trade.
All right, so we're getting a rejection back down for PBR here. I'd love for it to put in a double top and wash back down, but, you know, could do a little cup and handle action maybe. We'll see what we get. I'm not really stressed at all on it. I mean, it's a tiny range. I should have analyzed the range, maybe taken bigger sizing, but that's how it goes sometimes. AMD's just not pulling back to the VWAP. It faded back down, but it never actually pulled back there. All right, so PBR is kind of choppy and sideways. It's down to 72s. Doesn't look bad. It put in a little bit of a double top, but we'll see if it breaks and holds under this 73 level.
Oof, that YRIV. That one was a VWAP rejection to its finest. Could have made you $1.
Oh, which one? Oh, look
YRIV.
Look at NBEV. Look at NBEV right now. You might want to take advantage of that one. I'm already in a trade, but look at it. Tight risk. Decent reward. Smaller range, but it doesn't look bad for NBEV. I guess this is how today goes, man. I was planning on using bigger sizing, but PBR just had a tiny range. I should have analyzed it a little bit more beforehand, I think. But we're getting a follow through back down here. I don't know if I'm confident it's actually going to break these lows, but at least we're getting a follow through back down. You see NBEV?
Yep, I see it.
Trying to give PBR a little bit of time here. It's testing that low again. We'll see if it actually breaks down this time. It bounces here. What was that noise? I hate it when my computer makes a noise and I have no idea where it came from. All right, let's get a breakdown here for PBR.
APHA should have been my watch. Should have been dead on it. I would have been able to nail already both profits. It's one of those that.
All right, Bamboo. Have a good day, brother. Which one? APHA?
Yep. Made a beautiful VWAP fade.
Yeah, at this point, look at PBR, man. I'm kind of torn. Like, it's testing that low, but it's got to break here, I feel like. You know, if not, it's going to be a triple bottom.
Oof. It's one of those days where I'm just like, man, can we rewind, though? Just not ready. Didn't take any trade. Had 2 or 3 possibilities that would have already turned into profits.
DSW. Yeah, I don't know what AMD is going to do here. It found some support, you know, at 2020. Now it's just about what it's going to do here. My PBR trade's pretty easy. I mean, it's got all this resistance at 76, and so if it breaks that, I can just get out of it. But big if. Green showing up on the time and sales. May bounce some here. Like I said, ideally I want to see it hang under 76, 76, 77. Little choppiness though going on with it. Definitely some sideways action for PBR. Hey, appreciate the sub. Die. I was trying to figure out. I don't know if it was D or die. Alright, there we go. There's 68s. Let's get a break here. It's testing that low. Let's get a break here for PBR. Next profit target is 60s. Take a few more off at 60 if it gets down there. Let's get a break here though. There's 67s, 66s. Might take some off at 65s if it gets there. Add to it back if it gets back up to the VWAP. Alright, I took 100 off there. I was going to take it off at 65, but I just figured I might jump out before. Just to be more comfortable in it if it bounces here. Let this last little 100 work. And like I said, I'm not opposed to adding back some size. Maybe another 100 shares or so if it gets back up to the VWAP or to 72s. And so we'll give it that time to work here. I took 300 shares with it, but it's just got a tiny, tiny range. And so super comfortable in it. I may try to pull up another window, and if AMD gets up to that VWAP, I'll take it. I think that has a bigger range on it.
A lot of share size going through on MBEV there at that 515 area.
Yeah, ultimately I'm glad I didn't. It looked like a good fade with a tight wrist, but I think it would have broken my wrist already, and so. Sorry, is that better? Can y'all hear me better now? Sorry about that. I'll get a little bit closer to the mic. Yeah, the only problem with AMD right now, for me at least, is that the VWAP is so close to it. Like the VWAP's actually pretty close to it. Like it's so low right now that like I mean you could set a risk of 63 or so, giving you about an 11-cent risk, which doesn't look that bad, but it's just a little bit too close. Like I like a bigger pullback, so it has to work back down, and I don't know if we're gonna get that or not with AMD.
Yeah, I was looking at MBEV here, but I just don't think the range is right. I mean, risk could be essentially only 5 cents. Profits would be down to 5.05, maybe $5. Just think the range is a little too tight for me.
Yeah, I've milked some for AMD.
No, for MBEV.
Yeah, tight range. It's kind of what I'm dealing with PPR right now. Like I took it with 300 shares, but the range is just so small. I should have analyzed it beforehand. That was my mistake because I could have taken this one with 500 shares or so and felt fine with it. And so I've already scaled out enough to where I'm gonna have a green trade on this one, but it's just I don't know if it's actually gonna drop anymore for me. I was thinking about adding to it, but the reason I don't know if I want to add to it now because if it breaks this high here, it looks a little bit stronger on the upside, and so we'll see. We're getting AMD pulling back here to test that 2050. Same thing with AMD though. Like if AMD gets up to the VWAP, it has to break this 2043 level, and if it breaks that level, then it looks a little bit more strong on the upside. I mean, I don't smoke at all, Isaac. I don't smoke, man. PBR back up to the VWAP. Like I said, though, only reason I'm not in love with this one at this point is because it broke this high here. And so, I mean, I've made some money on it, but it's tiny, tiny gain. We'll see if it fades back down. Maybe I'm wrong here, but it broke this high. Makes me trust it a little bit less. I could see it getting squeezed up. I don't want to get caught in that, so. Hold firm at this 75 level. UXIN gets back to the VWAP. It doesn't look bad. It looks tight with the risk. Rumor has it I'm a closet smoker, Isaac. No, man. I mean, the only time I smoke cigarettes is like uh, special occasions. Like if I'm on a vacation in Florida at the beach, I might have a cigarette, you know, if my kids aren't around. But aside from that, I don't even like smoking cigarettes. They're too harsh for me. AMD getting back up there.
Go get my coffee.
Get you some caffeine, bro. Ooh, look at RIG. RIG. If you look to trade fades, RIG might be fading here. I don't know about a risk level, though. That's the only problem with it. Shipping company. Oh, yeah. I wasn't watching. There goes PBR squeezing up. Yeah, I mean, it could turn into basically a break-even trade. Um, if it breaks 76, that's, like I said, my exit. And that's why I didn't feel comfortable adding to it necessarily because it squeezes up here. it could start going green on me, and that's not what I want. And so I can get out for relatively break even here. See if we get that rejection at 76. If not, I can have an easy exit here. Look at NIO as well. NIO's back up to the VWAP. We'll see if we get a fight here for this previous high, or if it just breaks it, stops me out. Doesn't matter either way. I mean, obviously I'd like it to come back down, but I've scaled out of it decent enough to where I'm not super upset if I get stopped out. Alright, let's see if we get a wash back down for the third consecutive fade here. Big if, but it's down to 73s now. 72s. Alright. I'm just going to let this one work until it breaks my risk or gets down to 1360s or so. What, smoke cigarettes on vacation? Isaac, maybe I could have added at the VWAP like my original plan was, but I don't know. It broke that previous high. I'm just going to let this one work here. It's kind of choppiness, sideways action. Yeah, I mean, I don't really like smoking cigarettes. I quit cigarettes like 4 years ago, and like anytime I've smoked a cigarette since then, it's just too harsh. Can't handle it.
All right, guys. Short here some on Verti. Short here a little bit on Verti. Trying to increase size here.
On what?
On VERI.
Oh, on Very.
Yep.
All right, I could probably just set a stop here. And pull you up. What is this? 1376.
And take first profits at this 40 here. Willing to increase size in this. It's a tight risk.
Stop price is wrong. Oh, it's at 1276. Okay. Yeah, it is wrong. There we go. Yeah, I'm just riding some chop right now in PBR.
I hear you.
It's got that little triple top though. We'll see if it breaks this channel eventually though. It's been kind of forming this channel. What's your risk?
Above 60s right here. I was trying to get in at 55. It dropped down to 50s. I'm trying to get in somewhere in between this 55 to 50s and risk off that 60.
Okay. All right, so I gotta watch this one at this point. It's squeezing up on me a little bit. For PBR.
Keep an eye on it.
AMD's back up to the VWAP too. If anybody's looking to try to take that play. Yeah, just getting some chop here for PBR. I mean, well, I went for it with 300 shares. Didn't realize the range was so small, but it's faded, what, 3 times now?
MBEV up there now, high of day.
All right, we're getting another squeeze back up here for PBR, 75s. If I get out for break even, that's fine. It's just been going sideways all day today. Quiet. Big sizing coming in on the level 2 for PBR. Maybe has a higher float. trying to squeeze up some. We'll see if AMD fades here. I mean, it doesn't look like a bad fade. Kind of wish I wasn't in this one right now so I could trade it, but tight risk for the most part for AMD. 2062s maybe. Let's see where this risk would be. 2061, 2062. Doesn't look bad for a risk for AMD. There we go. We're getting some follow through for AMD. We'll see if it comes back down. See if that trade idea was correct. Like I said, I wish I kind of wasn't in PBR right now. AMD's kind of my bread and butter, but there it goes. AMD's super reliable with the fade too. Maybe a too late, even if I get stopped out here, maybe a little too late for me. Alright, we get 6, 76, 77. The last time I did this, it got squeezed right back down to 77. So if it gets over to 78, I'll just get out.
Right, looking good here.
Kind of just sitting here with PBR. It's right around my level. All I can do is hold it to my level.
Guys, I just secured 200 shares there, guys. Was able to take out 200 shares there. Now I only have 100 shares left. The reason I got in smaller share size in this one is because of the liquidity issue. The stock has only traded 280,000 shares, but the pattern was there. The daily extension was there. And I did see a lot of shorters get in at 660. So that was going to be the price. I've already paid myself now $20 on this trade and going to let the rest of the shares work here.
Good work. We're seeing some green come in the time and sales on PBR, so watching it really, really closely here. It's right around that level. Man, there is AMD. I was almost hoping, not to hope I get stopped out of PBR, but I was hoping it reached that level so I could jump in AMD for this fade.
I know how that goes, brother.
You know what I mean?
I was looking at the AMD trade also, like as I was already in BERI. I was looking at it, but it's also, yesterday it did a kind of range up, range down move. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not in it,
right. I mean,
it was a good tight risk though at that 60.
Right, 62. I like that risk level. All right, 77. All right, I'm out. So break even trade for PBR. Just didn't like it anymore. AMD, man.
Hey, you never know. You might get a chance where it bounces up a little bit and it comes back down. I would keep the consolidation looking at that one. You can look at AOBC. AOBC, kind of interesting there at that price point.
Cron, back up to the VWAP too. Let's look at the risk on Cron.
All right, guys, this looks like we're down right here to our second support here. I've seen so much pressure on here, guys, that I'm willing to let this try to break through these 635s here.
Cron doesn't look bad. The only thing I'm worried about is a move. If it pulls a move like it did with NBEV. And AMD, it's back to the VWAP, but it's stair-stepping back up there. Like you can see the stair step back up, and so it's almost putting in a triangle around the view up.
There we go. Push towards 30 here, guys. Gonna look for the complete breakdown here. Give this a chance to just break down.
So I'm watching AMD and Cron pretty closely here. I'll put you up in a second.
No stress.
Trying to figure out which one I want to get into, honestly, AMD or Cron. I think we have a tight risk on AMD. Alright, I'm in AMD with 300 shares. We'll let it work here. See if we get a move. Risk is 62. See if we get any follow through here with AMD.
There you go. Nice breakdown for me. Next stop. $6.
Alright, it's testing the $0.50 again with AMD. Like I said, though, I have my risk. I'm trying to scale up in sizing, and so, my losses may be bigger as this kind of transitional period of scaling up goes. And so, 2062 is a reasonable risk, I think. And relative to what I've been doing, I think it's okay. I'm just going to let it work here. Hopefully it gets faded back down, but if not, I have a tight risk. Reward of around 2020. Doesn't look bad. And so maybe 23 right here. Doesn't look bad. 25. And so that's the goal for this AMD trade. It's kind of consolidating around the $0.50. Looking for it to fade down. We'll see if we get it.
Giving this a chance to break down even further here, guys.
This is really where we want to see the breakdown with AMD. It's down to 43. I was really debating on getting in Cron too. Cron didn't look bad, honestly. All right, there's 44s, 43s, 42s. Let's see if we get a breakdown here. Yeah, I just got to take the leap, man. Accept the loss with this bigger sizing and understand that it may take a week or two to get used to it, but once I get used to it, I should be all right. 41s, 38s, 39s. To get a little bit more comfort here, I got out at the worst time possible. I scaled down a little bit with 150 shares. I tried to get out at 38s. It squeezed up right before I got out. Still something I'm getting used to, guys, so forgive me if I'm not holding it to my exact levels. But looking to maximize gains with it. Protect my account a little bit. Ideally, I want to see AMD break under 36. I just got to learn to handle my emotions better and accept the loss, I think, is what I need to do. Down to 41s, 40s. Yes, Gilbert, I'm shorting it. Time and sales is acting a little funny.
Gonna give us a chance to break this 21s right here.
Maybe Kron would have been a better move. I mean,
There you
Kron's really
go.
breaking down. What are you in VERI, right? Yeah, it's breaking down nicely for you.
All right, guys, I pulled myself a little bit more off there, guys. Now I have $36, 50 shares left. Gonna try to get these last little 50 shares down underneath 6.
All right, I really want to see AMD break this 40 level because it had support there previously. So if it breaks 40 level, this 2040 level, it looks bearish. So that's the level I really want to see it break is 2040. And it continues to test it. We'll see if we get a break though. There's 40. Flash on the level 2.
I'm gonna put a stop on the rest, guys, at 6:30 for me.
46s.
All right, guys, I have a stop put on there, guys. I'm gonna let this stock either work down and continue breaking through those 6, maybe that 615 area, and go down to $6. I'll take profit at 6, or I'm gonna let this stock bounce up to the 630s. I'll just go ahead and get on out, take that little profit there.
All right, we're getting a little bit of a squeeze up here on AMD. Kind of consolidating, still going sideways. Like I said, 2040 is the area I want to see it really break here. Come back down. It definitely looks bearish if it can break under 2040. See if that VWAP level holds. Yeah, it's not that, Gilbert. It's like I've been using a certain share size for the last few weeks, and at this point I'm trying to scale up, and so I'm not as used to using 300 shares like I did with this trade, and so I may be exiting a little bit earlier than I would to just based off of the new emotion of bigger sizing, and so yeah, man, it's just a new thing for me. I'm trying to scale up. You know, I took 300 shares, trying to let the rest work, but. It's just a process for me. I'm working on scaling up in these trades, and so you know, my trading's been great the last few weeks. At this point, like I said, it's just about scaling up in sizing, getting a little bit more comfortable with it. Is what I'm trying to focus on doing, and it's a process for sure. All right, let's see if we get that 2040 break. There we go. There's 2039s. That's what I wanted to see. Now it's definitely looking a little bit better. So we'll see if we get this bigger drop down to 37s. Kind of rebounded pretty quickly here. See if we get that 2040 drop, that 2040 level. If you want to see which support, I'm talking about the support here, that 2040 right here. It had some support there, so I want to see it hold underneath that ideally. 36. All right, I took off 75 there. Gonna let this rest a little bit work and really work for me here. Um, Definitely taking profits too soon. I know myself well enough. Not used to using 300 shares, but you know, I'm doing what I can to stay comfortable in it, and I'll get used to it eventually.
I could hear it, John.
100%.
Just kind of when you get into the trade, establish kind of where it's gonna happen. And if you're not getting out on those established targets, then you're making an error.
Right.
So just create that established target. That's
100%.
it.
100%. I mean, and this is like I can even acknowledge it about myself. You know that like I know I'm getting out too early. You know, really
It
the
happens to
first
the best of us.
right, and I understand that, and that's the process of scaling up. Is that your emotions are going to change as you use bigger sizing, and you know the goal is to curb those emotions as much as possible. And that's why it's all really conditioning. It's conditioning your brain to accept those losses, even though you're not used to them. And so it's a process. It's something I'm probably going to have to do over and over and over again until I'm more comfortable with it. Just like I did with the, first few hundred shares. Like I used to use 40 and 50 shares. Eventually I scaled up to 100, 150, and now I'm scaling up to about 300. And so it's a process for sure, but I've been through it before. And it's just about, at this point, it's just about getting used to it, conditioning myself. So a market order, Anik, a market order is basically telling them to fill you at the best possible price, but there's no limit or ceiling to that price. So you could really get filled anywhere. It's supposed to be the best possible price, to where a limit order is you need to be filled at that price that you set for your limit order or better. And so a limit order has to be at that price or better. A market order is supposed to be the best possible price right now. Like basically fill me right now at the best possible price, but there's no set limit with it. Like you could get filled at a terrible spot with market. And so that's the difference. Usually if you're shorting, the market order will fill you on the bid. And if you're going long, a market order will fill you around the ask, you know. Yeah, man. I mean, 300 shares is a step up for me for sure. And it's a process for sure. Like last week, I used 200 shares, and it's just something I'm gonna have to get comfortable with. I know I'm not holding it to my right levels, and so it's kind of one of those things where that's what I need to improve with this larger share size. But honestly, I'm happy I'm at least taking it. I'm at least taking the larger sizing, even
Yeah.
if I think that's the first step is just to take it, even if you're getting out too early. And then the next step is to work on those exits a little bit better.
GLBS on the movers list today.
There you go, Todd. All right, so now we want to see that 2040 level that we were talking about earlier, that we wanted to see it break under. We want to see that level hold as resistance now. So that previous support that we were talking about, I want to see that area hold as resistance and then get a big move back down. Yeah, for sure. It was a good entry for the VWAP on AMD. Not bad. Where did I get in? 2043. Yeah, a little bit under, but not bad. I'll take it. Yeah, shippers. So what's TOPS, GLBS? And it's just about getting comfortable with it. I just know myself. It's kind of that process where it's like I've had a really pretty graph, honestly, in the last few weeks, but it's just about getting used to bigger sizing to really maximize those gains. But yeah, look at GLBS, man. That thing's going crazy here. Get a little bit of a squeeze up here.
All right, guys, we got a rejection off of 630s here for VERI. Rejection off of 630s here. 630s essentially my out right now on this. I'm letting the stock work. I've already taken shares down all the way down to 618. I've been trying to let it work to maybe see if it can come down beneath 6 today. But if it does pop back above the 630 here, all right there.
All right, AMD squeezing back up to the VWAP.
And take the rest of the shares off there, guys. Great trade at the end of the day. $44.
Nice work.
On 300 shares.
Good job. Nice work, brother.
Not my. I wanted to take every trade at 500 shares, but when the liquidity of a stock is not as high, I don't want to be the reason that I cause it to jump up. So I came in there with small share sizing at a good price level, 50. I wanted to add up to 55, get that maximum entry. and really take this down. I took maybe 200 too quickly. Maybe should have just taken half of it, 150, and left at 150. But it is what it is. Part of the key of having like a uneven share rate like 500 is that you got to cut it in half. Cutting it in half is 250, stuff like that. I usually like to keep it to the zeros. So if I do 500, I'll sell either 200 or 300, depending on how I'm feeling, and then I'll look for that rest of it
Right.
break.
I see that. I get that.
But I was happy. I was able to take some down at the bottom here, 618.
Nice work. Good job. If it gets back up to the VWAP, it doesn't look bad there either, Mitch.
Yeah.
VIRI. Like, I don't hate it. The volume's...
Yeah, the volume's really low, so you
Yeah.
got to be careful with it.
All right, so AMD kind of consolidating here, going sideways. It kind of fulfilled that low of 35.40 area. And so at this point, I've scaled out enough to where I can just let it work. If it squeezes on me, that's kind of 2 break-even trades or so, which is fine. Just trying to let these work now. I mean, got a little bit left. Just going to let it see if it fades back down. Give it some time. Ultimate goal is that next low of the day here.
Holy moly, MBEV just got shorted. 13,000 shares there at 520s.
It's still above the VWAP. It's not looking that bad.
It's not a bad attempt here.
APHA squeezing up, testing those pre-market highs for APHA.
See, there's someone taking it. Regardless, it's a big share size. You see the share size coming through there, 20s and 22s, 13,800, then 4,000, then 2,000 right behind it.
That is pretty cool, Todd, man. I gotta say, I'm a little jealous of your coolness, brother. All right, we're getting another squeeze up here for AMD. Really, if it breaks this 54 level, I'm out.
Alpha going up there, shooting up, looking probably for a 6 break. What's Kron doing?
We might get a squeeze here for AMD. That's what I said, 50s. I'll let it test the $0.50, but again, if it breaks that 54 level, I'm out. Kind of a break-even day so far, but a green day regardless.
Look at Barry already back all the way up there. Big green candle there. Don't really like it. Not going to take another swing at that.
Getting really close here for AMD. Like I said, I'll let it test 54. Breaks 54, I'm out. I can let it test, but if it holds over 54, I'm out.
UXIN back there at the VWAP. Looks interesting there.
All right, we're getting that squeeze back down to 50s. We'll see if it holds over the VWAP now. Super obvious risk at this point.
There's some another big orders going through there at 520s for MBEV. This thing's setting up like a rocket ship. Let's see what happens.
We're down to 49s, 50s. It's kind of a $0.50 battle right now for AMD. Really easy trade though, because I can just follow that previous high as my risk, which is where my risk was essentially before.
Quick rejection on UXIN. That looked like a good VWAP fade right there. Straight to VWAP, straight right back down to the support.
All right, there's 48s, 47s, 46. All right, let's see it move back down here for AMD. I think it's going to battle this $0.50 for a little bit, though, honestly. I think it's probably going to squeeze back up over it, but obvious risk level. Probably going to be a break even trade, but I'll give it time to work, follow my levels like I should. There's the squeeze back up over 50. Called that one out. 48. That's what I said. It's battling this half dollar. That's really what it's doing. Some people are jumping in. It's kind of a make or break level for it.
Insane amount of volume right here on Cron. There's a size on the bid 416 showing up on the level twos.
All right, so AMD, like I said, battling that half dollar, which is what I thought it would do. Very obvious risk level now. It's going to make this second push. And so I'll give it that time. But we'll see what happens here.
APHA pushing through the sixes. At least it seems like it's about to. Got some buyers step in there.
Up to 52s on AMD.
Yep, UXIN probably going to get hit right now. Huge bidder there at 540s.
Yeah, I mean,
there.
UXAN, that was a big move yesterday.
Look at that, guys. I hope you have UXIN.
Here, I'm watching AMD here. All right, if AMD breaks this previous high, that's when I'm going to jump out.
That's a perfect example, guys. The UXIN, guys. Huge shorts dumping in there, guys. 540. I think about 40,000 shares went through there. This was an easy risk VWAP at 553 off of 560s, 7-cent risk. First potential profit at 40, then looking for the breakdown towards 31 in the 20s.
All right, AMD is really kind of battling this previous high. This is the area I'm watching. Like I said, I'm going to let it test. If it breaks, I'm out. It's kind of the make or break level for it. I'd love to see a squeeze back down, but if it breaks, it breaks. Can't do anything about it, and not going to hold it past that level. It's really trying here. Maybe held this one too long. See if it fakes me out. See if we get a squeeze back down.
Yeah, did you already take first profits?
Yeah.
And second profits?
Yeah, I took first profits already.
Yep.
It's kind of a,
If you kind of taking that first profits, I sometimes think it's just best to get out of the trade break even, just so you can take that little small profit and look for another entry.
Yeah, I'm letting it test this 60 level. I guess I probably changed the plan in it. Maybe it was a poorly managed trade by me. I guess my logic is like looking at this 60 level here. I think that's a reasonable area to let it test. I can hold it break even at this point and just be no stress for a break even day. I just want to see if it's going to hold under that 60 level, which I think is reasonable. Maybe it's got something we preach against, which is changing our trade plan while we're in the trade. And I think if I did something wrong, that's what I did wrong. But I don't have a problem with letting it test that level and then holding a break even on the day for it. We'll see if we get that, though. It's a big if. I think it's a reasonable trade at this point, or a reasonable thesis at this point, hypothesis at this point. And so we'll let it test, but regardless, it's going to be a break-even day, most likely.
A hard pattern there on PBR. Can't do much with that one. That was a hard one to judge.
What, PBR? Yeah, man. I mean, I was able to milk a little bit from PBR this morning, but it was basically break even as well. Kind of a weird day for me.
All right, I'm liking this AOBC right here. Have a good defined risk, 48. 48 would be the defined risk. Profits would be 35. So 3-cent risk or 7-cent risk. And we can get a profit of It's about 9 cents, at least from the chart. That's why I'm not taking this trade, guys. Risk to reward. Risk to reward doesn't match. I don't like it. Can the trade end up positive? Yes. But if you don't see the risk and reward, you're gambling.
Right.
It looks beautiful. AOBC right now, look at it. It just got hit and probably going to get destroyed. But to me, the risk and reward wasn't there.
Wasn't
I
worth
did
it.
like the trade. It wasn't viable. If I took this trade 50, 100 times, I'm probably going to end up in the losing column. And that's why I didn't take the trade there, guys. But I definitely see this stock getting hit right now, probably going through those 1330s and really starting to get some momentum.
All right, so AMD is trying to test this 60 level. That's like the area I'm watching. I'll let it test. If not, I can get out for relatively break even on it. I think that's a reasonable area to let it test. Maybe holding it a little bit past my level. I can recognize that as well. So I'll let it test 60.
MBEV broke out there, guys. Huge sizing there too on 538. It's a New Age Beverage Corporation over here. Getting huge volume there. Yeah, it's the daily chart. Daily chart showing really good strength signs for bullish on MBEV. And look at the amount of volume that's got in that last 1 minute candle. It was 373,000 shares there, guys. I would look for this kind of 529 to hold here. Once that 529 holds, you could look for that swing.
All right, so I'm letting it test this right here, the 61s. If it holds over that, though, I'm probably going to get out soon. I don't mind letting it test, but we'll give it a little bit more.
Watching crons here, guys, but the way that I see the other weed stocks, it's not really interesting me to attack this right now. But it really does look like a bear sign right there. 75, 76 off of 82s or 85s here. Definitely a potential trade. Just not liking how the consolidation is in Cron. Could definitely see it kind of swinging around from here. But the trade potential is right there. Yeah, UXIN, I was watching it back at the VWAP there, holding there. Tons of volume that went through there at 30s when it broke down a little bit. Great potential there. You would have to risk off of that 555. Essentially 4-cent risk here for nice, what we got here, 15, 16 cents. Or you could take your first profit at 42.
Look at NBEV go.
Is Khan get hit? Let's see if it follows through. Is UXIN going down a little bit?
All right, so AMD back down to that 50s level. We'll see if we get a move back down here. I think I let it go a little bit past my levels. I'm going to have to review this trade, but pretty easy. Hopefully it doesn't bounce here. We get a crack under $0.50, and it confirms that bearish trend, but it's above the VWAP. It's down to 52s, 51s. Let's see if we get that break. That's ultimately the goal here. 50s.
Get AOBC down now to those 1320s. Like I called it out. It was a great trade. Just since the levels aren't there for me to go off of, I have to go off of daily levels. I could use those daily levels to support there, 1331. It shows support there. And then the next level would be 1239s. But it's one of those trades that looks like a great trade. Since you don't see the targets, you probably should just hold off on, let it go. VERI, I am watching it up at the VWAP. It's kind of playing this little game here: up one, up two, down two, up three here at 650s. Would love to see it reject here at 650s, and then you could tackle it from the 40s, risking off of that 650s.
Right.
There's UXIN, guys. Squeeze. The squeeze is on, guys. UXIN all the way back up 1036. It got 200,000 shares, ripped through that 550 that we talked about, 555. That you need to hold tight to. Now it's above VWAP. If it holds VWAP, it's essentially bullish. It's going to get that momentum again and push.
Yeah, I mean, no stress for me in AMD. I see a few people saying sell or buy or whatever, but uh, it's kind of following the SPY. Not really. It had a big down day. The SPY kind of went sideways all day, and so I'm watching it, but I'm holding it to this level here, like I said earlier, this 2060s. Only thing I don't like about it is that down wick at that 2050 level, but we'll give it some time. Held it way past my levels. That's the biggest mistake I made in this trade, as well as exiting that first position a little early. But the only thing I don't like is that it is holding above the VWAP, which means that it's trying to maintain a bullish trend. So, I want to see it break under 2050, but it has the VWAP there as well as support there. So, mixed. Just going to hold it to that level I gave myself at 2060. Let it test. If not, get out. Relatively break-even day.
This AOBC back to the VWAP.
The level 2 is lagging on Thinkorswim. Alright, I'll let it test this high. Jump out if it breaks.
MBEV up there to 540s, brother.
I know, man. I've been watching that one. That one's been taking off this morning.
Yep, reversed out of that kind of VWAP fade there. That's why I didn't like it, because the range was too tight. When the range is too tight, the bulls can take over.
For sure.
That's the same way I feel on Cron. Like, it's been doing VWAP fades, but they've been about 20 cents. And when a stock has so much good potential, it's not going to take much.
Right.
You see MBEV shooting off again there. You look at the daily chart, it supports it so much. And that's what happens here, guys. Daily supporting, multi-time frame trades above a resistance of 540, holding that, now becoming a support in this stock, and it's getting that lift, that momentum.
Yeah, AMD's testing that previous high. Like I said, that's the level I'm watching here. You have this resistance here at 63, 62. And so that's the level I'm letting it work to. Like I said, if I made a mistake, I might have held it a little bit past my levels. But I don't think this is an unreasonable level to hold it to either. But I do think that was a mistake on my end. I'll have to review this trade a little bit. Yeah, I know the original risk I gave myself was like 64 or 54, and so I definitely let it go past that.
I'm seeing APHA up there at the high of day for APHA. There's a couple stocks moving today, guys.
I know, man. The volume was pretty good in pre-market, honestly. It wasn't too
Not bad at all. It's not bad at all. MBEV almost there at 560 now. The crazy part is when it started breaking that kind of 520s, 530s. I was thinking about taking a long, but it's not really my strategy. The long, kind of a pattern breakdown on the short side. I do short pattern breakdowns on the long side, but it's one of the things that maybe I should look into in the long run, seeing how often when they reverse for us on the view app, how often does it keep going?
Right. All right, gonna give this one more second and then probably jump out here. AMD looks like it's trying to squeeze back up. I'm letting it test that level. If it holds over it, I'm done with it.
What level?
That previous high, if you look to the left, hold on.
63s?
Yeah, 63, 62s. I'm just letting it test those levels. Um, that's kind of the big level. If it fails here, it's a double top, but I can't make it happen. You know, I have to be honest with myself about the levels, and that's what I'm trying to do. Like I said, maybe got out a little early, but with this rejection here, it looks a little bit better. But we'll see if it holds support there.
Looking at VERI here. Looks interesting here.
Honestly, if I'm being objective about this trade, though, like typically when AMD does this, it continues and heads back up. And so, if I'm being objective, I probably should have gotten out this trade already. If I'm being honest with myself about it, and it's one of those days where it's like I'm trying to gain that comfort with bigger sizing, maybe making a little bit worse decisions, but I can acknowledge that about myself. All right, make a break point here. If it squeezes up, it squeezes up here. I got to get out. All right, I'm out. Yeah, held it a little bit too long there. That's the mistake I made today. So $6 loss on the day, small loss. It's still one of those processes, guys, where I'm getting used to using bigger sizing, and it's just kind of how it goes. I had two green trades today, honestly, but I held this one a little bit too long. I should have just stuck with my exit at 54, and I could recognize that about myself. When AMD does this, typically it ends up holding over the VWAP and reversing some, and so that's what I should have recognized. But it is what it is. I can point out the holes in my game and understand that. The frustrating thing, though, is that I've had more green trades than red this week, but I've still been down slightly on the week. It's been a small losing week, but it's just kind of how it goes, guys. No stress. But with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and close it down. I don't think I'm going to get in anything else. Just kind of a weird day for some of these. PBR was able to take some profits from it, but not the best. AMD faded a little bit. I guess I'm happy I took those first profits there because that saved me from having like a $30 loss if I would have gotten caught in this squeeze with full sizing. But I do think I took profits a little bit too early.
It happens, brother.
Yeah, no stress. I mean, I'm not worried about it. Like I said, with bigger sizing, there's going to be like a little transitional period. You know, I can upload my graph to look to see what it looks like now.
So very VERI got a kind of somebody to put an acquisition kind of news out. Someone was saying that they'd buy it for kind of 90% premium of where the stock is right now. That's why it had that huge move yesterday. And today it's just kind of not doing anything. No volume, hanging out. Um, up here at the VWAP. It's looking interesting as I have, that trend line that can just go across. Gives me a risk of 650 on this trade and a reward of 617.
Yeah, here's my graph from the last 3 weeks. So took a little hit yesterday, $6 loss. It's still right around 90 or so right here. It's still a pretty graph. That was the first. The last 2 days have been the first losing days I've had in 2.5 weeks, and so you can see here, all through here, no red, and then took that loss yesterday for $15. The frustrating thing is that, like, if you look at the details here, my accuracy is still at 81%, and so it's been a good few weeks, but I just gotta get used to bigger sizing to take some bigger squeezes out of this market, take some bigger gains out of this market. And it's just kind of how it goes when I'm in that transitional period of scaling up. Also, guys, if anybody's interested in signing up to TradeNet, which is the broker I use, you can go through my link. I make a commission from it, but the link gets you 10% off a TradeNet package. And the way TradeNet works is it's kind of like a prop firm is the best way I can describe it. Like, you pay for a package. It's not a deposit. You actually pay for it. And for the intro package, I know they give you $14K in buying power, and you have a $700 max loss. So you actually get an extra $200 to lose. Relative to the $500 you're paying for the package. And so it's not a bad deal in my opinion. There is a profit split, so it's kind of like a prop firm is the best way I can describe it. But if you're interested in signing up, do your research. You can go through my link and check it out. I just posted the link up there in the chat. It's the jump to click link. But kind of a frustrating day. I'm not going to say it was a bad day. I mean, I'm down $6. Been still having pretty spot on accuracy in the market. And
brother,
yeah.
hey, is what it is. One of the key things is we understand that we held a little bit too much today. If not, that it would have been at least a small gain.
Oh yeah, it would have been like an $8 gain if I would have gotten out at the right level, And that's why I gave myself this 54 level. It kind of shows that, like, I usually do pretty good with following my plan. In this case, this was one of those days where I didn't, and I just didn't stick to my levels like I should have. I gave myself that 54 level right here, which was like these lows. And it just ended up squeezing me out, so no stress.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I'm at least looking like I'm gonna finish up right here, up 44.50 on one trade, 300 share size, a trade that with low volume, so didn't take the full share size, and at least made a pretty decent gain. Keep the account moving up. And keep pushing towards trying to get one of these lovely payouts from TradeNet.
Yeah. Man, I called out this one earlier, which is RIG, and it faded 3 times already. Pretty fades too. Maybe the volume was a little low. Risk could have been 30s. Yeah, good risk reward too. But didn't take advantage of it. And now AMD's fading. Barely stopped me out too, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah,
Can
that's
I
how
short
it goes.
ASNA? Let me look. No, ASNA is not tradable.
Barry getting squeezed there a little bit. You can see this pulling up and then just starting to rip. The news about it was bullish, so. This is why sometimes you just take your time on the trade. VERI, I went and I started doing research when John was in his AMD trade and was able to do my research and find out on VERI that it's not negative news. And so seeing as it's already down so much from yesterday, didn't want to take another attempt on it. And now it's pushing. It's pushing up there on the pattern, and now it's completely dead.
What do you think about PBR here, man? I'm really thinking about jumping into it. The reason
5 minute. 5 minute will always help you when it's choppy like this.
Yeah, I mean 5 minute doesn't look bad either. Tight risk. I mean, I don't know how about the risk. So let's look at the risk here. So the risk.
I would say you would have to enter in the 74 to 75 range
with the risk
and
of
risk off
77. Yeah.
You can do 77 or 80, one of those two. but you definitely need to get on the higher side of the 70s. You don't want to short this at 70. I don't think the risk and reward is right when you short it at 70. You need to get on the higher side of the trend line. And if you look at a 5 minute, you can draw a trend line going across where that last red touched. And that's where I would want to short it on that third resistance try and kind of a fail. You got a little bounce here, didn't even move up, and then it could go for the fail right now.
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually going to give it to me though. That's the problem. It's down to 70s now. Maybe it would have been good if I would have gotten it at 73 or so, but at this point,
Yeah, I think 73 to 75 gives you a good risk to reward in this trade.
right.
It could be kind of the same way that I didn't take AOBC just because it just wasn't the smartest one, or MBEV actually, for that fact.
What about APHA bouncing off the VWAP here?
APHA bouncing off the view out there. The only play I saw was when it rejected 6. You could have maybe done what's called the over under short, over a whole dollar, and then coming back underneath the whole dollar as it tries to hold on the second rush, can't get above, and then gets hit there. PBR looking like it's getting hit right now. But PBR is a little choppy. I would trade a stock like this more on like a 5 minute or even look at the 15 minute to determine what's going on really with the stock.
Yeah, I probably end up just closing it down for the day. It's tough to it's tough, guys. Like you can see, this is my transitional week where I'm trying to move up to 300 shares, and it's a roller coaster of emotions, and it's something that you have to get used to whenever you're scaling up, and that's kind of in the process I am now. Like I'm, 2 small losses this week so far, but a lot of it is due to PBR. I would have ended green on the day today. I just held it a little bit too long for AMD actually, not PBR, and so it's just kind of one of those things. I'm getting used to the sizing that I need to take in it, and it's kind of how it goes sometimes. It's been a good few weeks, and so I don't really have that much pressure except trying to scale up a little bit, which is the goal now. So we'll see how it goes.
This is part of the growing pains, bro.
Yep.
Growing pains.
For sure.
One of the key things is trying to trade the same way. The way that I do this is I only pay attention to the cents traded. If you only pay attention to the cents and you don't think about it and realize or unrealize, you're going to get around the emotion. Where I see a lot of traders make mistakes, they keep looking at their realized or unrealized. If you're looking at that amount, I can promise you right now, you're going to trade emotionally.
Right, 100%.
It's guaranteed. I don't care who you are. If you're looking at that realized and unrealized, you're going to go ahead and get hurt. Tiva looking beautiful here, guys. If I could get a little bounce up, 48s, 47s look good. The risk off of 55 for a breakdown. But
Which one?
Tiva. But I think we just missed it. It was just right there. I was drawing out the chart. If you could look at
Yeah, I see the rejection.
I was drawing it up. I was trying to draw it out. I drew the support here where it's heading to. And I was trying to determine the risk and reward because it was right about this level, 52, 55. A good risk. You could have done like 6 cents risk for a move down here into the 40.
Yeah, honestly, I don't hate NBEV, but it's a little late for it. But that BWAP bounce on NBEV with a risk of about 525, so like 7 or 8 cents, with the reward level all the way up to the high of the day, at least 550 would have been good risk reward for NBEV for that bounce play. Whether it's actually going to follow through I don't know, but it was solid risk reward for NBEV on that VWAP bounce. Kind of the same thing with APHA for that bounce play at 586, 587.
IMMY is one of those stocks kind of breaking out today.
Yeah, PBR faded nicely.
I'm enjoying it. It's my day off. Hanging out. I burnt my coffee though.
That's how it
I
goes.
burnt my coffee. I came back and I saw a berry and I was like, you know what? Take a sip of the burnt coffee and let's do this thing.
Right. Also, if anybody's interested, if you see the scanners I'm using and you're interested in checking out Trade Ideas, super cool company. It really makes my mornings much easier each morning with Trade Ideas. Makes finding gaps, seeing high the day breaks and stuff like that super easy. And so go check out Trade Ideas. Just posted the link. You can go check them out. Really cool company. Really makes my mornings easy and really dynamic and thorough scanner. So go check out Trade Ideas as well. And yeah, I think that may be it for me today. I don't know if I'm going to jump in anything else. Kind of a little late for it. Slightly lost, slightly losing day. Somewhat break even. We'll take it.
I'm laughing. Someone put in the group chat about TradeNet, the guy with the accent.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a real trader?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good mirror impression, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I hear him enough.
Yeah.
Do you want to follow us, the largest trading academy
Hey,
around the world?
that's spot on.
Go and listen to John and Mitch in the morning.
It's pretty good, man. That sounds just like him, honestly.
I got him. The impersonations right there.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna close it down. Good luck for the rest of the day. Go
Later,
check out
guys.
TradeNet. Go check out TradeNet if you are interested in signing up. I'll post that link one more time. Yeah,
Have a
for
good one,
sure.
man.
Later,
Take care.
guys. Good luck. We'll see you all tomorrow.
See you.